If someone slowly whispers your name outside your window at 3 a.m., never answer, because it may not be human. It may be something that has been waiting years for somebody to respond. This happened in 2014, inside a small town called Black Pine, hidden deep within the forests of Washington, USA. The town was always strangely quiet after sunset. People there believed nobody should ever enter the forest at night. But 24-year-old Adam never believed in those stories. Adam had recently moved into his late father's old house with his younger brother Noah. Their father had died mysteriously only a few months earlier. His body was discovered near the edge of the forest, and according to police, the expression on his face looked as if he had seen something horrifying before dying. The first night felt normal. Rain softly tapped against the windows while the wind moved through the trees, creating strange sounds outside. Noah went upstairs to sleep while Adam stayed downstairs searching through old boxes. That was when he discovered his father's old diary. On the first page, only one sentence had been written. If something calls your name at night, do not answer. Adam laughed quietly at first. He assumed his father had simply become paranoid before his death. But as he turned more pages, his smile slowly disappeared. Strange drawings of the forest filled the diary, and one name appeared repeatedly across the pages again and again. The Whisper Man. Suddenly, Noah's voice echoed from upstairs. Adam, did you call me? Adam looked up immediately. No. A few seconds of silence followed before Noah spoke again in a frightened voice. Then who keeps whispering my name from downstairs? A cold chill moved through Adam's body. The entire house became silent. Then, from outside the downstairs window, a soft whisper slowly echoed through the darkness. Noah! The voice sounded distant, almost gentle. Then it came again. Noah. This time the whisper sounded directly outside the window. Adam slowly walked toward the glass. Outside there was only darkness and rain. But suddenly lightning flashed across the forest, and for a single second Adam saw a tall black figure standing near the trees. Its face remained completely hidden in shadow. Then the darkness returned, and the figure disappeared instantly. At that exact moment, Noah screamed upstairs. Adam ran toward the second floor and found Noah sitting terrified in the corner of his room. He was standing outside my window, Noah whispered while shaking. He was watching me. Suddenly, every light inside the house shut off at once. Darkness swallowed everything. Then heavy footsteps slowly echoed from downstairs. Thud! 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 It sounded like somebody slowly walking across the wooden floor below them. Noah began crying while Adam turned on a flashlight and carefully moved toward the staircase. Downstairs, the living room was empty, but the front door stood wide open. Outside, the storm had become much stronger. Then Adam noticed wet footprints leading into the house from the rain. But the footprints did not look human. They were too long, too twisted. Suddenly, a whisper came directly beside Adam's ear. Adam! He spun around instantly, but nobody stood there. Then Noah ran downstairs in panic with tears in his eyes. The man is upstairs. Adam's heartbeat nearly stopped. Together, they slowly returned upstairs. One bedroom door stood slightly open. Heavy breathing echoed from inside the room. Adam pushed the door open with trembling hands and froze. Written across the wall in black paint were the words, "He answered." Suddenly, the bedroom door slammed shut behind them. The entire room instantly became freezing cold. Then from the darkest corner of the room, two glowing white eyes slowly appeared. Noah screamed in terror as the tall black figure slowly stepped out of the darkness. Its body was far too tall to be human, and its fingers nearly dragged across the floor. Then in a deep whisper it spoke. "Now you have heard me." Suddenly every window inside the room exploded at once. From outside the forest, hundreds of whispers echoed through the night together. "Adam, Noah, Adam, Noah." It sounded as if the entire forest was calling their names. Adam grabbed Noah's hand and tried to run, but suddenly the figure slowly lifted its head, and for the first time Adam saw its face. It was not human at all. Its eyes were nothing but endless black darkness, and inside its mouth hundreds of tiny moving teeth twisted unnaturally. At that exact moment, the entire house began shaking violently, and deep within the forest, something enormous had finally awakened. The entire house shook violently. Broken glass crashed onto the floor while thousands of whispers echoed from the forest outside. "Adam, Noah." It sounded as if the darkness itself had come alive. Adam grabbed Noah's hand tightly and ran toward the bedroom door. But suddenly the tall black figure appeared directly in front of them. It moved impossibly fast, as if it had vanished through the air itself. Its glowing white eyes stared into them, while its twisted smile looked nothing like a human expression. Slowly, the creature stretched one long arm toward Adam. Its fingers were unnaturally long, and black smoke leaked from its skin. Adam stepped backward in terror. Then suddenly a woman's crying voice echoed from downstairs. The voice sounded full of pain and sadness. Noah began shaking in fear. "That's Mom," he whispered softly. Adam's heart nearly stopped. Their mother had died years ago. Then the same voice echoed again from downstairs. "Adam, help me." For a moment, Adam froze completely. The voice sounded exactly like his mother. But then he remembered something written inside his father's diary. "If it speaks using the voice of someone you love, do not follow it." Suddenly, the tall figure slowly smiled wider. Its neck twisted unnaturally as it whispered, "She is still waiting for you downstairs." At that exact moment, every light inside the house suddenly turned back on. But the house no longer looked normal. Black handprints covered the walls, while dark liquid dripped slowly from the ceiling. Outside, the forest had disappeared beneath thick white fog. Then small footsteps suddenly echoed through the downstairs hallway. Tap, 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 followed by soft children's laughter. Adam pointed the flashlight downstairs, but nobody was there. Then suddenly the old family photograph hanging on the wall crashed onto the floor. The glass shattered instantly. Adam looked closer at the photo, and his blood froze. Behind his family inside the picture stood the same tall, black figure, even though it had never been there before. Noah began crying. "It was always with us." Suddenly, the bedroom door upstairs slowly began closing by itself. Adam rushed toward it, but the moment he grabbed the handle, something ice cold grabbed his wrist. Adam screamed loudly. The tall black figure now stood inches away from him. Darkness swirled inside its glowing eyes like endless tunnels. Then in a low whisper it spoke. "Your father answered too." Suddenly, horrifying images flooded Adam's mind. He saw his father running desperately through the forest, while the tall figure slowly followed behind him. Then he saw his father standing in front of an old wooden church hidden deep inside the woods. Written across the church door in blood were the words, "Do not speak his name." Suddenly, Adam returned to reality, gasping for air. His head felt like it was splitting apart. Then a violent crash exploded from downstairs. It sounded like the front door had just been smashed open. Heavy footsteps slowly entered the house. But this time it was not just one creature. Dozens of footsteps echoed through the darkness together. Thud, thud, thud. It sounded as if the entire forest had entered the house. Adam looked outside through the broken window, and his blood turned cold. Hundreds of glowing white eyes stared at the house from between the trees. Suddenly, one shadowy figure sprinted directly toward the window and slammed against the glass. Boom! The remaining glass shattered everywhere. Freezing wind and black smoke flooded into the room. Noah screamed in terror. Then behind them, the deep whisper echoed once more. "Now you have opened the door." Adam spun around instantly, but the tall figure had disappeared. Only a new message remained written across the wall in black letters. "He is coming from the forest." Suddenly, a loud human scream echoed from downstairs. Adam and Noah ran toward the staircase immediately. But the moment they reached the bottom, both of them froze in horror. A man stood inside the living room, covered completely in blood. Terror filled his eyes as he stared at them, shaking violently. In a trembling voice, he whispered, "Don't let it leave the forest." Then suddenly, two glowing white eyes appeared behind him in the darkness, and in the very next second, the man's body lifted slowly into the air.
The man's body hung frozen in the air. Terror filled his eyes while blood slowly poured from his mouth. Adam and Noah stood motionless on the staircase, unable to breathe. Then the two glowing white eyes behind him slowly rose higher in the darkness, and the tall black figure appeared once again. This time it looked even larger than before. Black smoke twisted around its body while the entire room became freezing cold. Suddenly, the man floating in the air began screaming in pain. Loud cracking sounds echoed through the house. Crack, crack. Then, in the next horrifying second, his body split apart violently, and blood exploded across the walls and floor. Noah screamed in terror. Adam grabbed him, and both of them stumbled backward. Slowly, the tall figure stepped forward. Thud, thud, thud. Every footstep echoed through the house like thunder. Then, in a deep whisper, it spoke. "Now the forest has awakened." Outside the windows, thousands of glowing white eyes suddenly appeared between the trees. The entire forest seemed alive, as if hundreds of creatures were moving through the darkness together. Then long scratches suddenly began appearing across the walls of the house, as if something outside was trying to claw its way inside. Noah started crying uncontrollably. "We have to leave." Adam quickly ran toward his father's diary. As he grabbed it, an old folded map suddenly slipped onto the floor. One location deep inside the forest had been circled in red ink. Above it were written the words, "The Church." Instantly, Adam remembered the vision he had seen earlier, the old wooden church hidden deep within the woods. Maybe that place contained the answers. Suddenly, every light inside the house shut off again. Only the glowing eyes outside remained visible in the darkness. Then whispers began surrounding the house from every direction. Adam, Noah. Thousands of voices repeated their names together. Suddenly, loud children's laughter echoed upstairs. Then footsteps began running across the ceiling and walls. Tap, 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 as if dozens of invisible people were crawling throughout the house. Adam realized if they stayed any longer, they would die there. He grabbed Noah's hand, and both of them ran through the back door into the forest. Outside, the storm had become terrifying. Rain crashed through the trees, while dark shadows moved between the woods. It felt as if the entire forest was watching them. They kept running deeper into the darkness while the whispers followed closer behind. Suddenly, Noah tripped over a large root and fell hard onto the ground. Adam turned to help him up, but both of them froze. The tall black figure stood directly ahead between the trees. Its glowing white eyes stared into them while black smoke leaked from its body. Slowly it opened its mouth, but inside there was only endless darkness. No tongue, no human teeth, only a deep black void stretching forever. Noah screamed. Then suddenly, somewhere deep inside the forest, a church bell began ringing loudly. Dong, dong, dong. The moment the figure heard the bell, it stopped moving. For the first time, anger appeared across its unnatural face. Slowly, it stepped backward as if afraid of the sound. Adam immediately grabbed Noah, and both of them ran toward the church bell. Minutes later, they finally reached the old church hidden deep in the forest. The building looked ancient and broken. Across the front door, the same warning had been written in faded blood. Do not speak his name. Adam pushed the church doors open. Inside, the entire church glowed with candlelight, even though nobody was there. In the center stood an old wooden table, holding an open book. Adam stepped closer and read the final page. This thing survives through human fear. If someone answers its call, it follows them forever. But there is only one way to send it back into darkness. Suddenly, the church doors slammed shut behind them. Thousands of whispers echoed outside the building. Then the same deep voice whispered again. Adam. The entire church shook violently. Candles flickered wildly while darkness spread across the walls. Adam quickly read the final sentence inside the book. The one who answered must face his fear. Only then will the door close. Suddenly, every church window exploded inward, and black smoke flooded inside. The tall figure stood outside the church, staring directly at them through the storm. Its glowing eyes burned through the darkness. Then it whispered slowly, "You already answered." Adam trembled with fear, but this time he stepped forward instead of backing away. He moved Noah behind him and stared directly into the creature's glowing eyes. Then, with all the strength he had left, Adam shouted, "I am not afraid of you." For a moment, the entire forest became silent. Then suddenly, the creature screamed in agony. Its body began tearing apart into smoke and darkness. Outside, the glowing white eyes between the trees vanished one by one. The whispers slowly faded away into silence. Then the entire dark figure shattered into black smoke and disappeared completely. Everything became quiet. The rain stopped. For the first time, the forest felt normal again. Adam and Noah stood there breathing heavily for several minutes, while dawn slowly began rising through the trees. But just as they turned to leave the church, Adam noticed fresh black writing slowly appearing across the church wall. The message read, "He only left for now.